MJ the Musical is one of Broadway's hottest tickets, the 4-time Tony Award winner celebrating 4 years at the Neil Simon Theater. It's the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and I'm so glad you're here. On this episode of the Broadway Show, we're all about MJ, the Jukebox Musical. It's about the life and creative process of the King of Pop. And we've got 5 stellar interviews from the stars on stage to the musical's creative engine and the backstage MVP. So let's get to it.
Hi, my name is Samuel Nelson III, and I am a standby here at MJ the Musical. I stand by for MJ and Middle Michael.
My name is Christine Meyers. I'm the Associate Global Costume Designer for MJ the Musical.
My name is Apollo Levine. I play Rob and Joe Jackson.
I am Dontee Kiehn, and I'm the Global Associate Director of MJ the Musical.
What's up? My name is Matte Martinez. I play MJ in MJ the Musical. Yeah, I mean, every time I say it out loud, it's just a whole trip. I grew up with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's the reason that I'm here. Yeah, that influenced me in a way that like no other artist has ever influenced me, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that I can say that I'm playing him, and I'm the third person to play him on this very brilliant, iconic show, like, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm very lucky, privileged, so I'm just very taken aback every day that I get to say I do that.
I'm so proud of him. It's been really fun to just see him develop from, the beginning. These kids come on and they're just so, excited to just be Michael Jackson and MJ, and then to be able to take over this role. I think we're all just very proud of him.
I think the fans' reactions and the anticipation of what they're about to see always gets me amped up. With a role like this, for me, there's always something to prove because you have expectations that are through the roof, right? People are coming into the show expecting Michael Jackson. You gotta show up and show out, you know what I'm saying? So every time I'm backstage, I'm amping myself up. I, of course, get the nerves, but I use it to make sure that, like, I can guarantee that the audiences are in safe hands, because the last thing you want is to come to an MJ show and you be like, that ain't Michael Jackson.
Being in the same presence of Matt, it's like I'm always watching a lesson. And just like watching his work, it's just super inspiring, and I'm super grateful to like be in the same realm as him and just to watch him perform, and like I'm always learning something from him.
When I look back at this time, the thing I'm gonna be most proud of is the fact that I was capable of doing something at this caliber. And the fact that I've been here for 3 years now and I'm now leading it, I'm just continuing to prove myself wrong, and I'm very grateful that I decided to do this, because yeah, I'm proud of myself in that way.
It's one of the most renowned songbook in the land, and also one of the most greatest entertainers of all time. So I think there's a respect, and I think there is certainly an acknowledgement that the fans are going to require something. But I think what our team does so beautifully is center it within the art and telling a very human story.
Me and Dontee probably have had the most conversations of anybody in this building, like, because they're looking from a different perspective. Dontee is sitting out there and she's like, oh, she sees a bigger world than what I see on stage. And I can say I've grown probably the most with Dontee.
I love the range of artists I get to work with. We now have 5 companies running across the world and touring across the United States, as well as our Broadway company here. And so the global piece is supervising teams, not only going to set up the companies, to teach the material, to make sure that I'm upholding the brand and the vision of the creative team, but also to supervise and give guidance and support.
There is a lot of self-doubt and things like that, but I've just been switching my gears so much and talking with my parents and trying to find it within myself, like, if I'm gonna be young and be the youngest person to play MJ and do this role, then I'm gonna make the audience feel like, yes, I'm the youngest person to do this. And you're gonna see a young energy, you're gonna see something that's fresh on the stage that people haven't seen before. So I just take it like that and just try and give myself grace. I woke up and I was like, dang, I'm about to debut. But I was just super nervous. Like, there were so many like emotions going through my head. Like, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. Honoring Michael Jackson is the biggest like thing at this point, like honoring him. It's not about me. It's just about showing his life and like everything that he went through, his trials and tribulations, and how he used that towards his music and his acting and dancing as well.
The fact that he is that young, coming into a beast of a show and doing it with such ease is inspiring. I mean, when you're 18, you're trying to figure out who you are too. You know what I'm saying? Not only are you taking in this crazy amount of work, but you're also outside of the building trying to figure out like what you want to do for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? And I think he knows that, and he's very smart and super talented. His MJ is insane.
Anytime you go out to the stage door and you see supporters of the show, fans of Michael Jackson's music and his legacy, and even the Jackson and the Jackson 5, there's always those supporters who get very emotional because it brings them back to when they were, you know, watching Michael live in person at maybe Wembley or Munich or at the Dangerous Tour or at the History Tour, the Bad Tour with the Victory Tour. And to hear how they felt and how this experience kind of like brought them back in time, that's like one of the best feelings too as well.
The year that I joined the show, when they first made the announcement, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really happening. I called my mom and I said, hey, just pray for me. This is really happening. And we got back into the rehearsal. The day that we came into rehearsal out of the pandemic, my sister called me and said, Mom is in the hospital. And I lost my mom 2 days into rehearsal coming back to Broadway. And then last Christmas, I lost my dad. But one of the things that I really, really appreciate about being in this particular family is that it held me down through something that I never thought that I would get through. It has grown me as an actor in so many ways, but it has also just taught me about community and family and resilience.
I think Apollo grounds me in a way. You know, since him being here from the beginning has just helped me kind of settle and understand like it's time to kind of like lock in. And we're always finding new things on stage too. He's always just willing and ready and excited. It's really, really cool.
I will say one of the things that my parents always instilled and taught me was leave it better than what you found it. And I don't want anybody to follow in my footsteps. I actually want them to make their own, but I've set a standard to feel and to walk like a path that you can get there a little bit easier, but even be bigger and better.
As a costume designer, being able to work globally is a dream. My week to week and day to day is very eclectic. Because we have 5 companies running right now, there's a lot of times where, say, Germany will be like, I can't get this thing in Germany, I need help. Can you help me out with this? Or costume pieces are only built in New York for all of our companies, which means that, for instance, I'll have to do Zoom fittings of Thriller costumes at 4 o'clock in the morning in Australia, and then clock off of that and be able to jump onto something happening in London. So yeah, this is a super quick change. So everything's rigged. We are not a Wicked. We are not a Hamilton. The way it's designed is very different in that there's so many costumes that are spanning so many different time periods.
Always locked and loaded. She's always like, she knows what needs to be fitted, know what needs to be right, know what the looks needs to be for everyone in the cast, not just for the MJs or the Michaels, but everyone in the cast, what things should look like, how it should fit on us, and how it should really perceive from the audience.
I think there's a lot of feeling that working in the arts is dangerous in some way, that it's uncertain work. It's a big deterrent for a lot of, younger people looking at the arts and being like, well, I can't do that. What if I don't make it? It's like, it's a job like anything else. You have to show up, you have to do the work.
When you walk into this theater, you are taken back to a time where Michael Jackson was, and still is, the #1 artist of all time.
Being able to see the different ways that he has influenced not only music in America, but, worldwide, just the culture and the strides he made. We talk about it in the show, and I think it's very important.
Michael would always wanted people to live with love, no matter what people were saying, no matter what people close to him were saying. His music has really transcended everything. You're still listening to his music no matter how old you are. Michael has just created something that's like, it's forever. That's what this show has as well.
And you can get your tickets to MJ the Musical over at Broadway.com. This is a Broadway show, and we're back in just a few. Death Becomes Her is alive on Broadway, and audiences are drinking the potion. I caught up with one of the new stars of Death Becomes Her, Tony nominee Betsy Wolfe. I want to talk about it first. When did you fall in love with the show first?
Okay, so I saw it on opening night, which was 3 weeks after I left & Juliet. And the truth is when you're in a show, you don't really go see many shows.
Right.
So the irony of the fact that it was probably the 4th show in 2 years that I had seen.
Wow.
But then, not only that, I could not stop laughing. My face hurt from smiling. It was everything I ever wanted to see in a musical. And I was like, this is out there, this type of thing is out there. And so I fell in love with it that night. And also it was the first time, probably in 8 years, that I watched a show and thought, that would be so much fun to do. And so the fact that I'm sitting here now, a year something later, is just, I just pinch myself constantly.
What has it been like, though, with the cast, with working with everybody, with taking over for Megan?
Well, first of all, everyone has been, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on camera, but it has been a dream to step into. And so to get to be truly the first principal that's coming in, I have felt nothing but love. They just have let me have free reign in a way, which is really the best way that you can step into a show. When you replace, you don't want to think about it like you're a carbon copy.
Right.
And they basically just said, Betsy, we know you, we love you, we trust you. Here's the parameters. Now go do you.
You're vlogging too for Broadway.com.
Yes.
And really having a good time.
I'm having a great time. I haven't done it since Waitress, which was the last and only other show that I've ever replaced in. So it's been really fun to get to kind of share with audiences and with the fan base of Death Becomes Her, which there is a amazing fan base for this show.
Yeah.
Hi, Tamsen. Wait, we have to go closer. It's user friendly. Do you see a little Broadway.com logo?
I do.
So did you know that this was the exact microphone? This is a microphone that they gave Jonathan Groff to use for his vlog.
Really?
And it looks like, Jonathan, you spit all over this. It looks like that's what you did.
But it's never been washed.
It's never been washed, and they gave it to me. Can you believe that?
How do you figure it out? Because I feel like you always find something to do, talk about, see, share.
I just try and carry my camera around with me at all times. And what's crazy is for every moment that I capture, there's 3 that I think, oh, I should have captured that. But it's impossible. Once I'm on stage, though, I leave stage for maybe 3 minutes at a time, and I'm changing costumes. So I can't really vlog during the show. There's no hope for that. Madeline is always on.
We're taking a look at another one of the amazing shows that will soon be headed to Broadway. Here's Paul Wontorek with more.
Ladies, I'm so happy to see both of you.
Likewise.
Starring in a
Thank you.
big, splashy Broadway musical. I've seen this movie hundreds. I mean, there was a period of my life where I feel like, once a week I thought like, I could use a cry. We watch Beaches again.
I
right? mean,
still feel that way. In terms of endearment, Beaches, Still
Yeah.
Magnolias.
Boys on the Side.
That same ilk.
Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yeah. Oh, it was that movie. I remember my mom introduced it to me, right? We're all of the same sort of like era. And so that film for me was a part of my youth.
It's a beautiful story of friendship, obviously. You see these two women meet as children on a beach, and you get to, was it like over like 3 or 4 decades? Like how long is this story here?
Yeah, three decades.
Yeah, 3-4 decades,
Wow.
and you get to go on this journey of 2 little girls who are the most opposite and remain the most opposite through their entire lives, but they have just hit this spark together upon meeting where one of them doesn't have what the other one has, and they both just chase it for their entire, life together. And so for it to be a new musical, I think I'm hoping that people will open up their minds to the fact that you're going to come in and see a piece that you might have seen already, but you've never seen it like this.
What I really like about it too is like, I think a lot of these times you see the movie transfer to the stage, or they're sort of swapped, and it's the same thing, but it's not fitted correctly. And so this feels like a reimagining of how do we take this story and make it for the stage.
Right.
It feels like it's meant for the stage, and I really appreciate that as a stage actress, that I understand what I'm in. I'm not just trying to recreate something from a different mode on the stage.
So on a scale of 1 to Wind Beneath My Wings, how emotional are we feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling
Wind
like
beneath.
I am Get Me a Wind Machine. Yes, we are at that point where this piece has become one of those things where by the end of the show, it's left all on the floor. And the hope is that we can pull the audience in, and make them feel like they can forget about life for those 2.5 hours while they're sitting in a theater.
I'm Christiani Pitts, and I am so excited to honor, applaud, and give all the flowers to the amazing Patina Miller. She was my first person I saw in theater that was doing exactly what I wanted to do, and it was so affirming. When I was looking at her in college, it was really just from a place of like just pure fandom, right? I'm just like, she's incredible, she's doing all the things, and she's making it look easy. Then when I got into the business and I realized just how difficult it actually was, it went from being a fan and sort of an admirer of her work to having like a deep respect for, oh, she's doing all this as a mom. Her run as a leading player in Pippin, she was like the first woman to do it in that capacity. So that was also like, she's sort of making history, and she's not just doing the work, she's like evolving the work in a way that must have been a lot of weight on her shoulders.
It takes a whole lot of people to keep a Broadway show running, from the stars on stage to the orchestra and all the people behind the scenes. So let's send it out to Perry Sook.
All right, we are here pre-show inside the theater of Just in Time Circle in the Square with the house management team. This is a unique space on Broadway. We're underground. What is it like? You've been here for several shows. I know Oklahoma, Romeo plus Juliet, and now here with Just in Time. What's it like shaping this space and changing it, to fit those shows in a way that only this theater can?
That, I almost feel like the show shapes the theater. No 2 shows are the same, no 2 seating configurations are the same, and each show interacts with the audience a little bit differently than the one before. For sure, I think that there's a lot more interaction in this space with the audience. You're a lot closer to the audience. You're a lot more intimate with the audience because they are right there. But how that show chooses to interact with the audience changes every single show.
What kind of challenges do come along with that? Because you're not just setting up box chairs. This is an immersive space that people are moving through that changes based on the show and changes every day.
I think it's very interesting how close the audience is to the actors. That I feel like is our biggest thing in making sure actors and audience are both safe. That is, I feel like a flight attendant sometimes, just making sure that everyone stays safe and their arms and legs are there. I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure people are safe with the audience and actor interaction.
And I do think that there's a level of, when people first come in here, if they've never been in their space, they're like, this is too close. How do you stop the audience from jumping on me? And they're like, there are rules of the theater and people in the space observe them. Even for the people who are sitting down on those seats, Jonathan and all the side, they're like walking through. You come like this close to them, and everybody knows what that space is and they respect it.
That's all for now. I'll see you next time. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.